If you hate the trend of earbuds being shaped like this, i.e. having a stem, and prefer this deeper fitting, more IEM style design, and you're on a budget, then Roseselsa might just have the TWS for you. The Ceramics X are priced very reasonably at just under $40, and whilst the specifications aren't too flashy, you're still getting all the basics. You're getting high-res audio through LDAC, active noise cancellation, and an impressive up to 10 hours battery life. In this review, you're going to hear how effective the active noise cancellation is with the recording from a busy coffee shop, with comparisons to some of those other popular sub $50 options. You're going to hear real life call samples in busy scenes, both indoors and outdoors. Get objective measurements of both the latency and the battery life, see whether their stability is up to the task for sports and fitness, and you're going to get to hear what the buds sound like for yourself, courtesy of a binaural sound sample, which is where we're going to start. Remember, I'm using the same sample here as in all of my reviews, so it's easier for you to compare and contrast different sound signatures from different buds. As you heard there, the Ceramics X has an enjoyable dynamic sound with a particular emphasis on the sub bass. The bass is probably the standout feature of these buds, with plenty of impact and slam. There's also some layering there and it doesn't bleed into the mid-range. With this preset, the mid-range is slightly veiled, and whilst there's fairly good body to male vocals, they do sit back a little in the mix. Female vocals come forward more though with added sparkle, and this combined with the softer, non-fatiguing treble means you've got a very natural and realistic timbre going on, making it ideal for listening to all sorts of genres really. So for $50, what's the catch? Because there surely has to be one. Well, there are two kind of drawbacks with the Ceramics X that could have made the product even better, starting with the customization options. Because whilst the Roseselsa app does have some good features like telling you how much battery is remaining in the case, which is a rarity, as well as letting you choose your codec, toggle multipoint and gaming mode on and off, and even change the voice prompt language between English and Chinese, the amount of control that you get over the sound is nowhere near the level that you get in terms of customization of the touch controls, for example, which are pretty much unlimited. The audio is just a choice of 3 presets: pop, hi-fi and rock. Sadly, there's no custom EQ. It's a bit of a missed opportunity really, because the harmonic distortion measurements suggest you can push these drivers a little harder. Even at their objectively worst points in the sub-bass region and in the presence region around 3 kHz, they were still clocking below 1% at both 70 and 90 dB. Basically, if you're an Android user and you've got a third-party EQ like Wavelet, then you can still tweak the sound without the fear of it messing up altogether. Thankfully, the 3 presets that you do have are actually really usable, and hi-fi is the one that I tend to listen to music using the most. The bass becomes a little bit more linear and it removes that slight hint of boxiness that you get with the pop preset. The trebles are extended slightly further, giving it a cleaner veneer, and female vocals are also much more prominent. Just bear in mind that with this preset at higher volumes, it can be a bit more fatiguing with certain cymbals and clashes sounding harsher. The technical performance of the drivers isn't amazing either. It's kind of what you would expect in a $50 set. This isn't the snappiest driver set, meaning that your transitions aren't perhaps as smooth or as speedy as they could be, and that does inevitably have a slight impact on instrument separation and imaging. They aren't alone though, because one of my other favourites at this price point, the Moondrop Space Travel, had similar limitations. In the league table we can see that the Ceramics X is giving you really good bang for buck. If you're looking for a budget set with an audiophile's take on a V-shaped tuning, then the Ceramics X is definitely this. Looking at the design next, and whilst I think it is just about fair to say that when you're handling it you can sense that it is a slightly lower budget set, I wouldn't go as far as to saying it's cheap and nasty. It's perfectly functional, and the glossy overcoat to the case does give it a little bit of added durability. The slight curvature to the inside of the bud and elongated nozzle mean that the fit is actually quite deep, diametrically opposed to all those Apple AirPod Pro clones that I typically review on this channel. Now, whether you find this kind of design comfortable or not is really going to come down to you and your own tolerance to discomfort, but I found them perfectly fine for using for hours upon end. Their lower profile design and IPX5 water and sweat resistance rating makes them ideal for using in the gym for weights, and that deeper fit that doesn't always necessarily translate to better stability when you're using them for more high intensity training does here, with the Ceramics X easily passing the 100 jumping jacks test and showing no signs of movement thereafter. The design of this earbud means that you're actually getting quite good passive isolation due to them fitting a little bit deeper in your ears. That means that the less than stellar ANC, as you would expect at this price point, is negated a little bit, still giving you probably enough noise isolation for the average user. But again, I'll let you be the judge of that, with this ANC sample recorded in a busy coffee shop with comparisons to some of their competitors in this price point. Transparency mode isn't too bad. It is quite natural sounding, so it's definitely better suited for hearing your general surroundings when you're out for a walk, as opposed to trying to hear every word of a conversation with someone nearby. And the wind noise reduction mode is a welcome addition at this price, and it works quite well.
What about the microphone performance? Well, this is how you expect them to sound on your calls if you're using them on the day. Perhaps you're walking on Friday to train underground station like this one. Or maybe you're outdoors and you're walking between stations, or maybe you've left a station, you're walking to work, school or college, and you've got a different set of complications that can get in the way of your call, like wind noise, as you can see, but also traffic noise as well. I'm stalling just as a motorbike goes past, so you can test whether you can actually hear it. This time we've got a different kind of challenge for the Rose Ceramics X. We're testing how they sound on your calls in a busy coffee shop, where you've got lots of conversations nearby, differentiating your voice from other voices around you, clanging and the flashing of crockery and cutlery, and the sound of the baristas in coffee.
It's always a challenge with buds of this form factor, where the voice mic is further away from your mouth, that they tend to pick up the environmental noise more than your own voice, making them not ideal for calls. So if you are a user that's looking to use your earbuds to regularly make and take voice calls and voice notes, then this isn't going to be the set for you. As I mentioned earlier, these buds have a low latency mode, and it does bring that latency down to a respectable level. Although if you're someone who uses your earbuds for first person shooters, it's probably still going to be a little bit too high. Where these buds are really strong though is battery life. With ANC switched off, I got just over 8.5 hours, and with ANC on around 6.5. With LDAC on, it was around 5 hours, but that's still pretty respectable for a budget set. And the 4 additional full charge cycles you get with the case is really impressive. So despite some minor drawbacks, the Ceramics X does a lot of the basics really well, and it gives those who don't like a stem an option in this budget segment, particularly at the current price, which is around $37, so quite a big reduction over the initial MSRP, making it quite competitive in that budget space with not too many other credible options. KZ's Xtra comes in a little bit cheaper and had slightly stronger ANC, but I think the Ceramics X sound better, and the Xtra give you zero customization, no presets and no app support. The Soundcore Space A40 have much stronger ANC, but are quite a bit more expensive, I didn't really like the fit, and the sound is quite dull and requires serious amount of EQ to get them sounding good. Meanwhile, QCY's ARC buds are a little bit cheaper, but the ANC is similarly weak. The sound isn't great, and they're also quite bulky. You could spend a lot more, nearly $100 more, and find out that you're not that much better off. I've left a link to David Audio's excellent comparison with Final's ZE3000 SV in the description. To summarise, if you're looking for a budget set without stems, you're getting good sound out of the box, great battery life, a stable fit, and very usable passive noise isolation. What you're not getting is particularly strong ANC or good call performance, and there's some limitations over customization, whilst latency could be lower if you're a gamer, but still a decent package overall. Hopefully after watching this video you're in a better position to judge whether they're the right buds for you. Now, loads of you have been asking for this review, so I know that this is a popular model in the market, but I would love to hear from you in the comments section. If you own the Ceramics X, whether you like it or dislike it, please do leave me a comment. Give the video a like if you found it useful, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For now, it's ReganCipher signing off.